it's working. I think it's working.
Woo.
So this is
Oh, there's one.
yeah, this is Joseph from Blame Yourself, and then we got Andy as well. Is that right?
Hello. Yeah, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can hear you. Fantastic. I think
Cool.
everything's working. Stream. Can you hear everything perfectly? This is going to be a good test of what's about to happen. That's right. All right. I just need to get this one up. There we go. Oh, so guys, tell us about yourself. Who are you, and where are you from, and what band is it that you are in? We already know that we're talking to Blame Yourself, but tell us again.
So yeah, we're Blame Yourself. We're from Newcastle in England, not to be confused with the Australian Newcastle. We've been a band for just over a year, and then gig in band just under a year now. So yeah, we're still relatively new.
Sensational. Yeah. And Andy, tell us about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Andy. I am the guitarist from Blame Yourself.
Just one of the guitarists, or the only guitarist?
The guitarist. So this is actually the first band I've been in where I've been the only guitarist.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of been intentional because I got into this style of music primarily over like some various COVID lockdowns. And I like the idea of blending kind of lead and rhythm guitar into a single guitar piece, even though I don't always manage to perform it live, as Joe would probably back us up on.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry. Everything's still good. I've tried to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
some.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool,
We
cool,
can
good,
hear
good,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, good,
yeah.
good, good. Okay, yeah, and well, real quick, what's your favorite breed of cow?
Oh, mine's a Highland cow.
A Highland
They're just
King?
really like hair. They just look like they need a good haircut, and they just look so cute.
I know it's a random question, but yeah, and you, Andy?
I would go for a Jersey cow because I like Jersey cow ice cream.
Nice, very good. I like it. I like it indeed. Okay, uh, Highlands Rock. Yes, perfect. So the chat. Also, chat. If you want to ask questions as well, please do so. Please do so. We can make that happen too. So why do you do what you do? Why do you do music? Maybe
Oh
first for
well,
yourself as an individual, and then maybe as a collective in Blame Yourself.
I learnt drums on a whim back in high school. Just like my friend knew how to play. We were bored one day, and I was like, "Oh, teach me something." And then I just fell in love, and it just sort of went on and on. And here I am, like 12, 13 years later, still trying to do music averagely, I'd say.
Yeah, for me, I think I probably stopped playing guitar when I was about 5 years old. I think walked past my dad's bedroom and he was playing "Come As You Are" by Nirvana on his guitar, and I was like, "What's that song and how do you do that?" And that made us just want to play guitar, and I did it basically ever since
Fantastic.
then.
What a great what a great introduction. Yeah, so "Come As You Are" was a fantastic song, um, by Nirvana as well. And do you still listen to Nirvana now?
Yeah, I do. I'd still go back and listen to Nevermind like a couple of times a year, and obviously it still holds up. Music tastes changed over time, but you can't fault it as an album, can you? Or
Mm,
as an
mm.
artist in
Yeah,
general.
absolutely. And what about Blame Yourself? What's Blame Yourself's overall reason? Is there one?
So, well, I guess again, kind of going back to my other answer, over lockdown, I was sitting there by myself writing 10, 15-second clips of music that I thought were like quite nice little ideas.
Mm.
Um, we got out of lockdown. I wasn't in a band at that point, and I had this like folder of, I wouldn't say songs, but I'd say a folder of ideas.
Mm.
And I just decided, like, right, one day I was like, right, I need to do something with these. I think it took 4 hours to form Blame Yourself. So me, Joe, and the drummer Kev, there's a website called Join My Band. We met on there, found each other. Well, I found them on there, and Nick, the singer, I knew him from playing with him playing with his band in a previous one of my bands. Kind of got all together and just started basically working through this folder of ideas that I had. And some of them were first single insects.
Mm.
Within 20 minutes of being in a practice room together, we more or less had that song how it got recorded in the
Yeah,
end.
right.
So like as a group, like anybody who's been in bands knows sometimes you get in a room, especially with a group of new people, especially with people you've not played with before, and you just tell that the chemistry as musicians isn't there. And
Mm.
it was just entirely the opposite with Blame Yourself when I got together with Joe and Kev and Nick. It just worked. We kind of got what each other was going for. Um, they would take these ideas I'd written and like suggest improvements on them, changes, how things could work better, and it just worked.
Mm. And so you all gelled together quite well as individuals, as musicians. That's also quite rare, isn't it? Like, have you found that? Have you found that rare to just?
Yeah, for me, like I had up until COVID had been in a couple of bands, mainly with this one person I went to school with, and we sort of grew up writing music, so we were like we knew what each other were thinking. And over COVID, sort of life and COVID obviously split up that band, and I moved about 2 hours away from where I lived up north, and it was really daunting to get into a practice room with people that I didn't know. They knew each other sort of through gigs and that, but to get into a room with three people that I'd never met, didn't know musically, had never even spoke to, and for it to gel that well after sort of having a couple of practices with other sort of bands and that it just didn't gel. That happens. That's nothing like to do with
Mm.
anyone as a musician or anything. It just didn't gel. It was really nice to just sort of click with other people.
Yeah,
Bear in mind,
absolutely.
this is the same Joe that 1 year ago he was like, I just want to play a little bit of music. I'm not bothered about gigging. I don't want to record. And then a year later, he's gigging, recording, running his own promotions company again, putting on festivals in the area. He's only been in this city for a year or two, and he's like kind of cemented himself within the local scene as like people are coming and going like, Joe, you know people, and he's like, do I? Like I've only just moved here.
It's one of them things that you'll know as a musician, like you never really get away from it. Like you might have a break, but as soon as you dip your toe back in that water, you're in it fully. Like there's no sort of, oh, I'll do it. I'll do a little bit. I'll do a little bit. It just never
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
happens.
I very, very, very much understand that. And so Joe, I heard that a little bit, and I know we're going a little bit off script now, but that's okay. So you do a lot more outside of the band as well. So you're doing promotions company. Did I hear that right?
Yes, as of next year, it'll be 10 years since I've been started putting on gigs. It was one of the things that me and a friend that was in a previous band were just sick of promoters that were all in it for the money. And as you, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in here in England, like if you are gigging sort of locally, there's not much money in it. Like you
No.
can make a bit here and there, you can cover costs or whatever, but you don't make money.
Mm.
And we were just sick of like as 17, 18 year olds who were just passionate about music. We were emailing people in cities going, look, we will turn up for free, we will play as you open doors, play a 20-minute set, and we will get off stage. Don't want any money. We just want that chance of
Mm.
20 minutes experience on stage in a new city. And we were getting emails like, oh, if you can't bring 100 people, don't bother emailing. If you can't bring 50 people, don't bother emailing. Or at the time, this has seemed to have fizzled out a bit, but there was like a pay to play
Yes.
sort of thing going on where, oh, we will
Mm.
we will sell you tickets for a fiver each for 20 of them, and you give us £100 or whatever, and so they've covered their costs and you sort of keep the money as you sell the tickets. And that was a real toxic way of running gigs back then. And we were just sick of just not getting the chances. So it was just we were
Mm.
putting on people who wanted to come and play, and we'd sort of built a name around that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. Yeah, so we do have a very similar, like, so pay to play is still very uh, it's the done thing to do in Australia. There are
Right.
some venues that do it a lot better than others. In that where I used to work, for example, it was probably the cheapest venue that you could hire, but that venue was also the only one in the Wollongong area that. Was truly for the underground musicians and bands, and yeah. So once you paid the sound guy, the venue was pretty much free. So yeah. So anyway, the what about any kind of like, are there any kind of messages or themes that you want to kind of try and convey through Blame Yourself, or is it just
I'll let Andy go with that. He writes 90% of the
Well,
music.
yeah. So lyrically, me, Joe, Kev, we've got no involvement. So Nick was singer. He's a very emotional guy, and he likes to put a lot of thought in his vocals. And he's in another band, Tired of Fighting, which the lyrics he writes in his other band are very much like, I guess, his feelings at that exact moment when he writes the song. He's trying to get a very particular message. Um, when we start Blame Yourself, and I said, like, right, Nick, he has 7 songs. He was a bit like, kind of like, he was taken aback a bit by it because he's never written in that style he writes. So he's feeling at that exact moment and conveys that into a song. With these ones, he was given a bunch of blank slates and he had to kind of come up with something. So I think he described it as he's a lot more like metaphorical with the writing of Blame Yourself. He gets a theme in his mind, which is different song by song, or he might have an event he's writing based around. But yeah, and you know, they're all your typical themes of heartbreak and
yes.
all that kind of thing. It's interesting to me because I'm the primary songwriter in the music terms. Obviously, Joe and Kev have big input on how we actually form the songs when we get playing. But I'll typically write at least like the main melody of a song, the main chord structure. The latest track, Pillar, is the one that you're going to be playing today. I remember writing that one, and I codenamed that one. I think I called it Mountains when I first wrote it.
Sure.
Because in my mind, I don't know what it's like when you write songs. You kind of picture what it is you feel when you're writing the piece of music. And even though I wasn't writing words, I had an idea of just something like large and grand, but kind of alone was the kind of thing I thought when I was writing that specific chord structure. So then when Nick turned around with these lyrics for Pillars, which is about, you know, being by yourself and then kind of discovering other people and things like it was just a really nice kind of fit of what I'd musically thought I was going for. And I'd never really conveyed that to Nick. And then he came up with these lyrics, which also kind of, in a way, fit what I was originally intending from the musical piece.
Yeah. That's really.
I think also,
yeah.
you go. You say,
Also,
sorry.
I think that's really interesting that you write the whole musical component without the lyrics. That's yeah. That's like I tend to write. So for myself, I tend to write the music first also, but I generally like start with just like a riff or just like a 4-bar idea and then see what emotions come up when that happens, and then I start writing down lyrics to it. Yeah, but I do like that. I think I do like that. And Joseph, you were saying?
I think Nick sort of used Blame Yourself as well to sort of expand how he writes
Sure.
lyrics. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
he sort of said when we first started that he would prefer to have the bit of music, take it away, write lyrics, a couple of revisions or whatever, and then come back. But he sort of said more recently that, like, he'll be in a practice room with us and we'll be writing something and he will try and get some sort of at least foundation there and then. And I don't think he would ever do that before. So I think this is sort of allowing him to sort of be a bit more playful. As Andy said, he's a bit more metaphorical, like Glue, which you play quite often. I think is more metaphorical. Like he's put himself. It's about sort of, I think, being stuck in a rut and being like either addicted to alcohol or drugs or whatever, and you're stuck in this relationship, and you know that this relationship is great, but your behavior as an addict or whatever is harming that, and you're stuck. Hence the sort of metaphor of glue in that.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't think he's been through anything like that, but he's put himself in that position, thought about it, and wrote those lyrics a bit more metaphorically than obviously he would in his other band.
I really like that because you are playing with the. I think you are playing more creatively, like with the lyrical sense, and that's why I think that's part of the reason why I like Glue. Actually, is because I go that is a part of the, you know, so those combination of words and how it all comes together around Glue. I haven't heard that before, so I
No.
like that. I really like that. So well done there. And I think I might take it to the chat. How do you guys write chat? If you're still listening in, how do you guys write your lyrics? If you are a singer songwriter, let us know. Let us know how you would write lyrics. So on the show, we do have a lot of bands and artists who feel like they're getting nowhere. What could you say to them that might encourage them to keep at it, or even encourage yourselves to keep at it?
It's a tough one because obviously, we we aren't anywhere as of yet. So
Of
like
course.
we haven't broken through, but you know, I suppose going back to what I was saying about Joe when we started this band, his intention was, and mine as well, if I'm being honest, was I'd be happy if I did like a gig here and there, or if we got a chance of recording a song. I think it's more about being happy in whatever space you get to as a band. Like you don't have to worry about getting somewhere if you're
Mm.
happy in the position that you're in. So, you know, I'm happy that locally we are getting people who, like our band. That is getting somewhere to me. I'm happy that we've got 4 songs recording now, that we've got t-shirts with the names on them that sometimes people occasionally buy at gigs. Like that is getting somewhere to me.
Nice. I like that. I suppose that does kind of lead on to probably my last question of the evening, which is what do you think is your definition of success as a band or artist?
For me, I think when you're younger and you start out bands and sort of gigging and that, you have these sort of grand ideas of you're going to be playing like massive places, crowds, and whatever. And it's only the very rare scenarios that that will happen. Um, for me now, sort of 10 years down the line, it's covering costs. Like, as stupid as that is, like, once you've put in that original investment of like maybe recording your first song, getting your first batch of merch, it's the money you make through gigging or merch sales or royalties or whatever, not that that's a lot, but it's being able to cover the recording of the next song or the next batch of merch or blah 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 blah. Like
Yeah.
it's being able to not have to keep shelling in money, because I've been in bands where, oh, all right, we'll make a bit here and there, but you're still shelling in hundreds of pounds each to record the next song or get the next bit of merch, get the next whatever. And it's just, if you're in that cycle, it's difficult to get out of. Whereas if you're sort of a bit more sensible and like, oh, we'll put this, keep putting this in the pot, and we'll pay for the next recording. It's just, to me, that's sort of making it on a small scale.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And yourself, Andy?
Yeah, what Joe said, honestly, paying for the recordings was such like a big deal to
Mm.
me personally. Like just to get to the end of recording the singles and go, right, we owed like a tenner each.
Yeah.
Like it's just a very good feeling. Um, and then yeah, like I said before, just being being happy in the position you're in is making it as far as I'm concerned.
It's also nice that like a year down the line, we've got people who are stood in the audience knowing the lyrics. That's like, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird
Mm.
to me. Like, you're stood, you can see people that you've seen at shows in your t-shirts, even if it's one or two, and they know your lyrics, they know your singles. Even some people, like, there's a guy in a local band who loves coming to our shows, and he knows some of the lyrics of songs that aren't even recorded yet, and to me that's like mind blowing.
Yeah. So you got like a super fan already. That's amazing.
But no, he's brilliant. I just love what we're doing at the minute. So
That's
that
great.
in it's a way it's making it as well.
Mm. And Joe and Andy, I know it's so good that you're both giving back to the community as well, and I love that Joe, you keep coming back to the show and sharing all these music. So you share stuff from Blame Yourself, but you also share music and bands and artists from all over the UK and all over the world that again needs to be heard as well, and that's what we are all about here. I love the community. Thank you so much, Joseph and Andy, for joining in and being a part of the show in this way.
No worries. Thank you for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us.
And so we're going to sign off there, and I'm going to go back over here. Yeah, thank you so much. Also, chat, thank you so much for sticking around and being a part of the very first Fourth Watch live interview. You may say. So that's Blame Yourself. Blame Yourself. That was two guys from Blame Yourself, Joseph and Andy, and they only have 2 songs released on Spotify at the moment. But tomorrow they're releasing a very new track. And so if you're just joining in now, we have a very, very special moment right now. So we just heard from Joseph and Andy from Blame Yourself. And now we get an opportunity to listen into their brand new track that is being officially released tomorrow. But we get to listen to it today. So feel very happy, guys. Feel very, be very, very excited for this. This is Blame Yourself and their new track, Pillars. And here we go.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, good God, what I wouldn't give just to trade it in. Cashed a card, I'm drawn like a hieroglyph. I'm a monolith, single stone. Fuck with our foundation. Pillars, a boy listen high.
Did you hear that? That is our exclusive drop of Blame Yourself and their latest track, Pillars, which is being released tomorrow. Oh, chat, that was a very, very special moment. Very, very special moment indeed. Oh, gosh. Oh, I don't want to keep...